A warm welcome everyone to round 8 of One Hub Racing Season 25. We're here in Portugal at the Algarve International Circuit, a circuit mostly used for motorcycle racing nowadays, but it returns to Formula 1 racing here in this league. And I'm once again not alone here today. I've got the wonderful voice of former league racer here in One Hub and a very successful league racer as well. So let me introduce you to Colin R. Mason. Welcome.
Evening, JM. Evening, all. How is everyone? This, I think, is going to be a very exciting race. It's actually one of my favourite tracks on the entire calendar to drive. It's quite tricky. Very fast in places as well. Very easy to pick up penalties. But yeah, I love this track. JM, what do you think of this track?
Gotta be honest, I don't really like driving it with F1 cars. I never got used to it. But I think in general it's not a bad circuit. I mean, I love riding it with a motorcycle, but I'm just not really a fan with the F1 cars in general. I never really got onto it, and but I know a few people who got used to it and they quite enjoyed it. So it seems like a mixed bag in my eyes. What do you think?
I think it's a very interesting track. It's quite tricky, especially there's an uphill section, lots of elevation changes, and it's quite difficult to control the rear of the car around here as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be a few spinners this evening. And Lawrence, M125 and Proverb are going to be praying it's not them, because they are our current championship leaders. So at the moment, Lawrence in the Alpine is leading the title with 98 points. M125 in second place has got 96 points, so just 2 points covering the top two. Proverb then in third has 71 points. Then there's a little bit of a gap to fourth, but incredibly close from fourth down to the lower places. So Giggle in fourth's on 57 points. Then we have Funky on 54, Ghost on 53, Mason on 52, Sallow on 46, Quinn on 42, Jamie's on 42, Matthias on 42, Jess on 39, Cam on 38. So it's so close. It's going to be very difficult for the drivers now. You know, they've got to have to be a little bit careful not to have a bad race.
Yeah, and speaking of bad races, just coming back to the circuit here, Portugal, as I said, a bit tricky with the traction, and there are a few corners where it is even trickier to get the ideal traction, especially corners like turn 5 after the left-hander, or turn 8, when you accelerate through for the uphill section, which immediately goes down. I had the experience in several F1 games that the traction zone there is absolutely horrible, so you need to be really careful with the traction here in this section. And if you're not careful enough, you will definitely spin out and lose control of the car. Well, just some few circuit informations. We've got 33 laps here today. We've got 15 corners for the drivers, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. We've got 2 DRS zones. The first one being at the start-finish straight, and the second one between turn 4 and turn 5. The circuit length in general is 4.653 kilometers. And, well, Colin, I mean, we have a really tight championship fight here, but who do you think is the guy who has the upper hand today?
I would say probably at the minute, I would say Lawrence has probably got the upper hand. But it's so close. M125's he's been a bit unlucky, to be fair. He has missed a race as well. So despite that, he has done very, very well to stay just within 2 points of Lawrence. But this is where I love this part of the championship, because it's not just about how quick you are. This now is, have you got the bottle? And this is the really exciting bit, you know. Are they going to be aggressive still? Are they going to be a little bit circumspect with their overtaking, knowing that they're in a championship hunt? So it's going to be very, very interesting. And of course, the guys know the weather now. So the drivers, they know the weather. We obviously do our weather system. So the qualifying will be clear. So there's no worry about rain. And the race, it'll start overcast, go to clear, and then overcast. So no rain for the race either. So obviously we do have rain within our system. We had a little bit of rain last week where it rained at the very end of the race, with Cam dragging his Kick Sauber across the line on soft tyres in intermediate conditions to win the race. If we can have a race half as exciting as last week's, we'll be in for a belter.
I mean, Portugal has quite a lot of potential to be a difficult race for the drivers. I will just move to the driver lineup here in a bit, because we got a few absentees here today, like guys like Shelby, Joby, Giggle, and Funky, and even Solau are all missing today. They will be replaced, probably be replaced or not be replaced for the race here, which is a bit of a shame for the few guys here, but they will surely come back even stronger for the next weekend. Well, I mean, we only got a few more minutes left before we can finally move on to qualifying. We're even just readying up now, so I will just switch over. I only apologize in advance if the gameplay footage might lag out a bit. I've just got a new capture card, so I just hope that everything is running smoothly. So, yeah, we got a interesting field here today, and I really cannot wait. As I said, the entire weekend is completely dry, which is a bit of a shame, because a few bits of rain isn't the worst thing here for us, at least in the commentary booth. But
so we do have actually 2 drivers taking their engine penalty this race. So Matthias and Rageman. So here at OneUp, we obviously do a lobby restart after qualifying to enable us to do things like this. So they will be permitted to qualify, but both Rage and Matthias will have a 10-place grid penalty issued to them for their engine penalty, which will be obviously sorted between quali and the race. So they're going to be hoping for a very, very good quali, knowing that they're going to drop 10 places.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea as well, to use this 80-minute session to probably do a few practice laps as well, because they got a fresh engine. They can already start abusing it a tiny bit to at least get a few laps out of it, and to at least be a bit more comfortable when we move on to the race. So, here we are then. 80 minutes of qualifying, and I surely cannot wait. So who's going to be the first one who leaves the pits? Let's see.
Let's have a look. I can see Jess coming out on track. So obviously now, with the lobby restart, the drivers don't need to save any tyres. So they can actually go for the softer tyre strategy, which will give them 4 brand new sets of tyres. So this is it's one of the reasons I love this setup, because the drivers don't wait around. They go out there. There's no saving of any tyres. It's just gun it and see who the quickest driver is.
Yeah, and this is really exciting here, because everyone can just abuse the tyre as much as they want, use every bit of tyres. This is going to be quite exciting to see the drivers pushing it to the limits here at the spectacular Algarve International Circuit. Yeah, as I said, a track mostly used for motorcycle racing nowadays. It was part of the F1 calendar for 2 years, in 2020 and 2021, but it got kicked out after the last edition, 21, and it never came back in the official F1 calendar. But it has a bit of a history here in One Hub, always being a part in the F1 game cycle, so it is always a welcomed addition to the One Hub calendars. As Cam is the first one out of track, so we will surely follow him around for a track lap commentated by yours truly, Colin Mason. So Colin, get ready for this lap.
So here he is now. So this corner here now, really important to get this right because there's such a long run down towards the first corner. So he's going to want to keep as much speed as he can. Just slightly turn the wheel. Don't turn it too much. You'll scrub speed. So as he comes over the brow of the hill now, he'll engage DRS flat out down to the first corner. Such a difficult first corner here. So easy to invalidate the lap. Bit of a slide, but he keeps it within the track limits. Into the hairpin. Down, it keeps it only in third gear. Here's very easy to lose traction on the exit. Heading downhill now into the second DRS zone. Heavy braking into the hairpin, just past the 100-meter board. Gets a good apex, little bit of a wobble on exit as he heads into my favourite section. Is he flat round here? Just a little lift. Keeps it, drops it to third, tries to keep good exit speed. Here we go now, is this flat? Yes, easy flat. Cam there. Down into fourth gear. Difficult exit there. And here we go now. Now this is such a difficult braking point. Finds it nice and well. Last but one corner now. Just trying to keep the speed up. Keeps it in fourth gear. Nails the throttle. You can see him using ERS. He hasn't used all of it, to be fair. He's still got 50% left. Just engages DRS just before the line, and it's a 1 minute 17.876.
So, Cam open up the score. Thanks, Colin, for the track presentation, as always. And let's see who will be the quickest one after the first set of laps. At the moment, it's Jamie with a 1 minute 17.575. Goes up to second, almost a full 10th behind. Also, I'm seeing OKK trying to attempt the long lap penalty here, which he doesn't, which he aborts. As JR Mason now, OKK's teammate on pole for 1 minute 17.420. So we are getting quicker here as we progress. As I'm going to have a look into Sir Quinith. Don't need to activate here a few more things here. Let's see where he ends up. He's abusing overtake. He's come to the last corner. Let's see where he ends up. DRS open. It's P2. But
P2, yeah. Look
close.
How close it is already. Look, just a couple of tenths covering 5 cars already. Shows how close this grid is. But that's a very, very good banker lap from Quinn there. I have a feeling that Quinn's going to have a very, very good race today. He's been a bit unfortunate the last couple of races. He did win the sprint race. I think it was in Baku. He's been a bit unfortunate the last couple of races, been involved in incidents that were not really his fault. But yeah, he's having a solid start to this quali session.
Absolutely. As we're now watching Rageman here, he moves up to P9. Decent lap. Who's still on the fly at the moment? OKK is with the medium tires. Well, he's probably just...
Now, OKK did this last week, actually. It's very, very wise, because OKK is a very busy man, so he doesn't get as much time to practice as some others. So he will use the qualifying session at the start. He'll stick a bit of fuel in, and he'll use it as a bit of a race practice and get used to the track. So OKK, once again, using his experience to good effect here.
Yeah, definitely a good choice if you don't get much practice time. But yeah, therefore the 80 minutes are worth it, and it's definitely wise to use the time. Well, we got Ghost out there on the lap, but he almost runs out of ERS, so he surely won't have enough energy to survive, and probably doesn't have enough fuel as well. but we'll
Yes,
see.
this is the thing with the drivers. You know, with this new system where they actually manually use their ERA, it really does require quite a fair bit of practice to get it right. Because if you do run out before the line, you will lose a heap of time.
Yeah, and he's coming to the pits, so he has aborted his run. Jamie Matt is out, or will be leaving the pit lane in his Red Bull. Well, we got a fair bit of action already, and the gaps at the front, they were quite close there. I mean, P5, Proverb, only 2/10 down, which is quite strong. Cam Cameron 4/10 down, and P7 with Jess. I mean, she's the first of the drivers missing out the 1 minute 17s, but the session is still quite long, and there's every bit of opportunity that you can make it count.
Yeah, exactly. I know Jess isn't feeling too well at the minute as well. She's feeling a bit rough. So I think her being in 7th at the minute, I think she'd be delighted with that. Mason there up in first, which I believe that Mason is one of, if not the best qualifier on average out of both leagues. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out in the races for him, but he's already had 3 pole positions this season, but not a podium yet. So I think he'd be hoping to change that today.
Absolutely, and well, we keep an eye off the drivers here, who's still in a flying lap, and well, I mean, drivers who still need to set a lap time, Matthias and Lawrence D. So I'm currently keeping an eye on Matthias as he's starting his lap in a few seconds.
Yes, of course, Matthias being in the Haas, which has been recently in the news, where Haas are going to have a partnership with Toyota. As he runs very wide on the last corner, does it invalidate? No, I don't think it does. Quite fortunate not to invalidate there. So obviously Matthias is one of the drivers, himself and Rage, who will be having their 10-place grid penalty. So very important qualifying session for these two drivers. Oh, it's a bit of traffic. But the Sauber driver doing well there, getting out of the way.
Could have been worse. I mean, it's still alright, but probably doesn't really cost that much time in the process. Yeah, the news with Toyota, surely interesting for the future. I mean, the future looks bright for Haas. It's impossible to say this after 2023, but with your new team boss, there's a quite high confidence here for the team. And it hopefully also shows in here the progress the team has made over the year. As Matthias here, getting right on the limit, as Jamie now for the fastest time, 1 minute 17.186. Wow, over 2/10 quicker than J.R. Mason. Wow, that was a statement.
That is a brilliant lap from Jamie, isn't it? I mean, wow. I mean, I don't think... I was obviously watching a bit of practice that Jamie was doing earlier today, and I don't think he got that time. Or anywhere near it, to be honest. So I think Jamie will be delighted with that. And don't forget, we've still got 8. Oh, look at that! As I say that, Mason chucks in a 16.7.
Wow. That is a huge statement here. What a lap. Wow, unbelievable. Good lap here by the Aston Martin driver. And over 4/10 quicker now than Jamie. Wow. Now we might get a little bit of a field spread here. Except... maybe a driver wants to at least use the time now and set a proper lap. But who knows?
So I'm just looking now to see who's on a lap. So M125, quite low down, only 11th for our driver who is second in the championship. He's on a lap at the minute. So let's have a look, see what his sector time is. He's a little bit quicker, but not dramatically so.
Well, at least
so he's going to be hope that he's going to hope that he's going to budge his position up quite a bit more than that at the minute.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised because I would have thought that he was a front runner, but yeah, maybe that.
And he's invalidated. Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't really like the track, or he doesn't have quite a lot of luck here in this session. Who knows?
Yeah, so a bit of a struggle there for M125, our championship leader in 6th place at the minute, and he's invalidated his run as well. So yeah, so our title protagonists are finding it a little bit difficult out there.
Yeah, but honestly, it's a good thing here for the championship and also here for this race. The prospect of the championship contenders struggling a bit with the track. It is all good to see. As I'm now switching to Lawrence D, who has validated. He's up into P6 here at the moment. Over a second, nearly a second down on JR Mason. Wow, the gaps are getting increasingly high now. I mean, it was close at the beginning, but now with JR and Jamie, yeah, it's starting to spread out a bit, at least in the front.
Yeah, obviously the track is getting a little bit quicker, a bit more rubber down on the circuit for the drivers. But yeah, so this is perfect for Proverb at the minute. Obviously, he's sitting 3rd in the championship. And the two rivals ahead of him are currently behind him. He sits in 5th on a 17.6 at the minute. Jess, look at that, 18 flat, still in the top 8. So I think she's going to be very, very pleased with that. So who's the surprise in at the minute? It's definitely going to be M125 down in 12th at the minute. So he's really got to get a lap together. Rage in 11th. We know he's going to get a 10-place grid penalty. So he's going to be starting 15th or 14th. But yeah, still very, very, despite the top 2, still very, very close down the field.
Yeah, that's good to see here, actually. And yeah, I've noticed that the stream is having quite a lot of frame drops. Don't really know why, but well, we're gonna progress through qualifying, then we see what I can do. At least I can hope I can fix it pretty quickly, but let's finish qualifying first. So, who do we have here? Well, Cam is not really improving. Well, Proverb, his car looks a bit dirty. Did he went off the track?
Yeah, so he has invalidated, so I don't know whether he, maybe he's spun. Yeah, it does look very dirty, doesn't it? Yeah, he's definitely taken a visit to the grass or the gravel. And it is an outlap as well, which is surprising.
Yeah.
So he is now going to start his lap. I don't think he's got any damage to his car. We'll soon see, because he'll be peeling off into the pit lane.
Nice,
no, he is starting his lap.
It does look like he went for a little trip to the Rally Portugal, but yeah, I mean, doesn't really make much sense. Was Proverb lap is still validated by judging the second map. Let's go on board with Ghost. He's currently improving, at least it looked like. He's now approaching the final sector, the final few corners.
Yeah, so looking at the sector times, Ghost is a 10th up. So this might get him into the top 3 if he can find a little bit more extra time. No, he bails out. He bails out. So he's now back in the pit lane. So that'll give him... So there's only 3 minutes to go, so not long left for the drivers now to set a time.
Now let's see M135. I'm going on board with him here. He's now in Sector 2. He was improving in the first sector, but can he keep this form up in the second and third sector?
Yeah, so he's half a second up, but that still will only put him around P8, P9 at the minute. Is he going to improve now? He keeps it within the track limits, which he failed to do on his previous run. Nice and smooth round the final sector. Just 2 corners to go. He's got a little bit of ERS he could use, so he saved some. Now, here we go. Flat out now, using all his ERS he's got left. Hug it nice and tight for the last corner. Head to the line. This is going to be a good lap. It's P2. What a lap from M125. Put him up just in front of Jamie.
And that's more like it. But there's still, I think, quite a few tenths left. But time is running out for him. But at least it's better than starting outside of the top 10. That's more like it for our championship protagonist. As we are now looking for the final drivers leaving the pits for the final flying lap. And we go on board with Proverb here. He's now on a actual lap, not an invalidated one. His lap is still valid. So let's see what he can do in his little bit messy Mercedes.
So he's just coming into the final sector now. He's 3/10 up. So he's 3/10 up just with the last sector to go. Little bit of wheel spin, but keeps it together. He's got loads of ERS left, absolutely tons of it. So he's going to nail it all now, use it all to the line. What's he going to do? He keeps it nice and tight. And it's a 17.3, puts him in P4. Very good lap from Proverb.
Yeah, that's much better. That's row 2 here for the Mercedes driver. As M125 is coming to the pits, so his qualifying is surely over. JR Mason also in the pits, so I assume that he feels confident that the lap will be enough for the pole position. As we're now starting with the final laps, Sir Quinniff, one of the first to complete his lap. He's just started it right now. He's on the first sector. Does it look clean? Yeah, it's looking alright. Let's see what the first sector is saying. This now comes up the hill. He's approaching the second DRS zone. He's slightly improving, but not by much.
Yeah, just a little bit of an improvement from Quinn, but to be honest, he doesn't need much of an improvement to gain a place here. So, very important here. Oh, that's really nice through that section there. Really kept it. Really high speed, keeping it within track limits. He's got a little bit of ERS that he's going to get. He'll obviously save a little bit now as he comes around the slower section here. This looks a very, very nice win there. I missed that sector 2 time. I don't know whether you caught it, JM.
It was. It looked like he was 3/10 up as he's now approaching the final corners. Watch for the traction. Looks quite clean. He's now using overtake for the final corner. Not turning quite a lot, and it looks okay. Will be at least row number 1 for the Brit. It will be row number 1 with a 1 minute 17.0. So who will be the next? It looks like an recap. It is Rageman. Will we end up in P7? Not a bad lap.
Great lap from Rageman there. Yeah, look, just a little bit 300ths lower than Ghost, but what a lap from Quinn there. That was really fantastic. Jamie, he's half a tenth up as he's run out of VRS. So I don't think he's going to improve.
Nope.
No, not quite.
What about Jess? And not enough. Who's the next one? Looks like an Alpine. And it's Lawrence D, and his lap is still valid, but doesn't look like a big improvement, at least for timing wise. Oh, it is!
Whoa!
I got fooled by the game. It was a big improvement. A 1 minute 17.013. What a lap here. He's now in the front row. And I think the final one will be probably Proverb. He's coming to the pits. So who's left actually?
In the pits. I think it's just Cowboy left.
Nope. I think. Yeah, no, he doesn't improve.
No,
he went
that's
off the
right.
throttle.
Yeah. So I think that's it. So Mason gets his 4th pole of the season.
Amazing. Great performance by JR Mason. Yeah, just ahead of Lawrence D with a huge gap here, it has to be said. But can he keep up the form during the race? Well,
This is going to be so crucial to get a good start here. It's quite a long run down to the first corner, so it's going to be very, very important to get a good start here. Obviously, the race is dry. It is going to be a bit overcast. The drivers would have a decent strategy at mind, I think. So will be interesting to see what strategy the guys go for now.
Absolutely. I mean, basically now with the free tire choice, surely gonna be interesting to see which strategies they will be using. If the soft tire is good enough for the race itself, or if it will be basically just a qualifying tire like it is in real life. So, Colin would say I'm just going through the qualifying results pretty quickly. Then I will just do a quick stream restart. I will just try to change the encoder to reduce the lag. I'm very sorry for that. I once again apologize for that. And, well, we've got Jared Mason on pole, ahead of Lawrence D and Quinniff, followed by M135, Jamie, Proverb, Ghost, Rageman, Cowboy, and Cam. And outside of the top 10, we have Jess with Tyres, Skrillex, Dr. Mew, and OKK in 15th place. Well, I'll just do a quick stream restart, and we'll see us in a few minutes or a few seconds. So